Hey traders, it's JD back with another market outlook. So let's jump into this. As we go through these major pairs, we'll be able to see just basically what was the last outlook. All the markings are still there for the most part. If you've seen the last video I just dropped, the recap for the last week, then you know how we progressed through these weeks, how we drew these zones, especially if you checked out the last week's market outlook, you knew how we drew these zones, what we're expecting for the week. So this week is just about the same. We're gonna go through these pairs. We're gonna see. We're gonna make it clean. Let's delete all these things. We don't really need this. One thing I do need for sure is another period separator right here. We know the week begins right here. And I will go through and actually delete these. Let's see if any of these zones are relevant for next week. I believe next week, because of the weekly candle is bearish. We can see the current price here. Open was over here, so it's a bearish candle. What we're looking for is just a bearish week in this case. So let's grab this. Let's put this at the supreme high. That's definitely a zone that we need to be on the outlook for. Another zone I see is this one right here. Okay, and then we have another just right around here. Let me just draw it fresh. Just like this. Okay, so these are the zones that I'm keeping intact that I'm looking for next week. And all we really need is a bearish rejection of these zones. So as we've seen from last week with the possibilities that can actually happen, you know, we might not even get a retest at all and price might just continue straight down. But what we're looking for is that retest, that rejection of one of these resistances so we can get a 1 to 3 risk to reward on our trade. But also makes sense to where we put our stop loss, where we put our take profits, things like that. Those things all have to make sense as well. So this is really what we're looking for this week on this pair. It was a bearish candle week, and the US dollar actually looks like it's picking up, but we'll see that as we go on to the other pairs. The US dollar seems like it's picking up in strength, and if the US dollar is going up, the other ex-USD pairs should go down. Remember this correlation, so there's like 8 currencies you got to put on a strength. So if, like, let's say Australian US dollars closely match, so they're both strong for the week, they would consolidate. You got to think about this correlation, market structure, candlestick size. Those things all go into the key time frame analysis. They all show one picture. So let's just jump down to the next pair, Euro USD. We had a bearish week on this one as well. So the bearish week just showing us that the US dollar is still strong in that favor. So let's see where our zones, our highlighted zones are. We definitely have one right here. Should draw that into the future. I do want to acknowledge this one right here. And then we do have this very small one. Is this what I like? We can work with this for the week. So same thing goes. We just need a retest. I'm expecting the pullback. Like not that I'm expecting the pullback, but I require a pullback to actually get into my trade. Just because those would be the best times to take the trade. I can take breakouts trade as well. I do some of those sometimes, but like I said, for this actual style of trading that I'm doing, that I'm displaying in the Telegram, these will just be retests only. I'm not really trying to look for any breakouts or anything like that. So here we can put this. We've got 3 areas of interest, and there's actually a certain reason why I limit it to just 3. Sometimes there's 4, but I try to keep the numbers reduced. You know, you don't want too many signals for the week. You don't want to overtrade. And there's a psychological reason why I have 3 there. 3 is a special number. Okay, so that's really how that's looking. We can see we're expecting the market structure to continue to the downside, form more lower lows, because that's what is currently happening, right? So that's what we're looking for. That's what we're looking to continue. We don't know if we'll get a double top, right? If price will want to come back up to this area, then go down. We gotta be there and react to the market. We're not going in anticipation. We're not saying this has to happen and this has to happen, but it's more so reaction. Okay, we got this at this area at this time, then I can make this move. Okay, more so like chess rather than gambling and this one has to be right or this one has to be wrong. So let's look at this one. I believe this one here, we are going with a bullish sentiment. It's a bullish candle close. I know the other US pairs are doing something a bit different than what this is, but I'm sticking to what the analysis says. I'm just sticking to that. I don't want to deviate from that. I don't want to apply any thoughts and say, okay, but the other ones are doing this and this and this. It's just following the weekly candle, and in this case we got a bullish weekly candle. Very small, yes. Last week was bearish, this week was bullish. And like I mentioned in the previous recap video, this was one of the trades that we had to exit as the market closed. Okay, so let's just see where our zones are looking. You know, like I said, I want the pullback. So if I'm taking a pullback, I can only get in below this price ideally. I will acknowledge this price here, right? Then I will move this price over into the future, and then I will also just mark off the supreme low. Just to get into a buy trade, I need a rejection of one of these areas, right? That's what I would like to see. Bearish candle, and then a bullish candle, and then 1 to 3, risk 1 to gain 3. Next week, I probably will do more of a no TP at all and just try to ride it out. At 1 to 3, I'll then go break even, things like that. But that's what we're really looking for this week on GU. It's contrary to a lot of the other US pairs, but that's ultimately okay because I know my risk. I know even if I'm wrong on this one, I will still survive no matter what. And that is one of the key essentials to trading. So this one here, we took a losing trade, okay. And now we have a bearish sentiment. We opened up here last week, we closed down here. So we're getting bearish vibes from this. Let's move things over, let's update things, and see where our price might be headed for, or where we're looking to actually take an entry. So we have, I do want to just mark off this like this, put a mid zone, got area 1, area 2, and area 3. Okay, so if we can just get a rejection in any of these areas, I'll be satisfied to take a trade to the downside. Essentially, it's really as clear as that. What else can there be about this? We are already getting bearish market structure. We can see that here. And we always expect the market structure to continue. Double tops are bearish market structure. So let's move on to the next. I believe we have 3 more pairs left. USD CAD. Let's delete all this old information. And where we had a bullish week. We opened here, closed here, so it's bulls. Bulls in control for next week. Let's see where areas are. We have the supreme low, which I do want to mark off as a support. And it looks like we have an area somewhat in here as well. And then I do want to toggle off this area here. Just like this, and then I'm just looking for a pullback to one of these areas. And then a continuation would be amazing. Sometimes we might not get a continuation at all, and the trend would just change. That is the situation last week was in, while we weren't able to perform as well because the trend had shifted for a lot of the pairs by the end of the week, and then a lot of them just didn't give any retest. A lot of them were just continuing straight into the trend from the previous week where we had a really good week there. So really that's what we're looking for this. Let me just add these in so we can be clear. Okay. If we can get a bullish rejection of any of these zones, we can now go longwards for about 1 to 3 And the take profit, normally the take profit would be set by the support and resistance that I already have on the chart, but in this case it's not, because my take profit is dependent on my stop loss. Also on the support and resistance, yes, but mainly on my stop loss, because I'm aiming for risk 1 to gain 3 on my trades. Clear? Okay, so let's go down to the next one, which is USD Swiss. So this one, we got a bullish week. We're going with bulls on this one here. This is a valid support, right? We got some hiccups in this area with here, false breakout, what a lot of people call. And then we have another hiccup here. And the hiccups, you know, are just a lack of fluid movement. It's a hiccup in the market. It's a lack of flow. It tells me that something is there. There's a reason. There's a psychological reason why people won't allow the price to go higher, or at this point in time won't accept a higher price or won't accept a lower price. And with that information, I can place trades based on that. So here is really my 3 major zones for next week on Euro Swiss. Still bullish. This is what we're expecting for the week. Pretty simple stuff, pretty classic stuff. Pullback, retest, continuation. Pullback, rejection, continuation is what we need. And then this one here is a bit odd. It's the anomaly from just like the pound US dollar. And whereas in this case, we're gonna go short on this pair here, USD Japanese yen. Reason we're going short, if we look at the weekly time frame, we had a pretty much a doji candle. Is very indecisive as well. But one thing I do want to take note of is that the trend, the weekly trend is already forming lower lows. And then if we'll do this after, but if we go on the other XJPY pairs, we'll see that those pairs are also headed towards the downside, showing a lot of strength in JPY. And if there's strength in JPY, USD drops, strength in JPY goes up, price goes down. Essentially is the way correlation would work and currency strength as a whole. Let me delete this one. Let's draw in our resistances. We have the supreme top. And then I did mark off this zone on the MT4. And then I believe we have this zone here. Okay, so just a retest of any of these zones would be completely beautiful. That's really what I'm expecting. Well, expecting is the wrong word, but this is what I would like to actually hop into a trade. This is the only criteria that I need to enter a trade. So that's how that's looking for this week, guys. Let me show you. The other charts are not marked up as yet, but we can see USD JPY. We had a bearish weekly candle. Let's go on to the weekly and have a look at these ones. AJ, bearish candle as well, showing. And the reason why we can say that this is consistency in the JPY strength or weakness, whatever we want to call it right now, is because all these pairs share one thing in relation, and that's the JPY pair, okay? That's the JPY currency. So AJ is a bearish candle. Let me go like this. And then next we have Canadian JPY, bearish candle as well. Swiss JPY, bearish candle as well. Euro JPY, bearish candle as well. Pound JPY. This is a bullish candle, but that's indecisive. Next we have NZD JPY, bearish candle as well. So that's the whole idea of correlation and everything that's being applied with USD JPY, and basically all the pairs all around. Okay, one thing to take note of is that the currency strength does change midweek as development is going, as progress is being produced. So it's something to be aware of, whether you want to do this from the lower time frames or from the higher time frames. It's just something to be aware of, so you're not trading out of the direction of the trend, because the trend is your friend. That's all I really want to say for this video, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and stay safe for this week. always last. Lasting is, if you don't last, you can't play. So catch you guys in the next video.